2022 continued a string of calendar years that fucking sucked. I'm grateful that I'm still able to check out for a bit by placing polychloride vinyl discs on a spinning platter. As with last year, in 2022 I spent the most time listening to the subjects of the Imaginary Being series. Juma Sultan's Aboriginal Music Society's Intermedia Sound Studio Session, Mac Gaydon's McGavick Gaydon, The Electronic Whole, and the Philippe DeBarge and Pretty Things acetate. I suggest listening to all of those albums at the very least, and if you haven't watched the episodes, well, I recommend them also. And so with those innocuous statements out of the way, it's time for the main attraction.
Eleven.
Could you please repeat that?
11.
Although it's bad enough for me to attach arbitrary numerical signifiers to the albums on this list, to these ears there isn't another musician who so clearly illuminates the regressive effects of genre and categorization in music than Don Cherry. What kind of music is it? Asked the human to the algorithm. While researching Imaginary Beings 3 back in 2021, I came across a cassette release on YouTube by the duo Emerald Webb titled Valley of the Birds, which caught my ear in a way a lot of so-called new age music doesn't. The internet tells me they lean towards the sci-fi end of that spectrum, and in a rare instance, I'm inclined to agree. Having not spent much time with Guru since my CD collection began its rot many years ago, this vinyl reissue from 2021 that someone heartlessly traded in for store credit somewhere in upstate New York was a bit of a revelation. Primitive and elaborate all at once, and more timeless than I would have wagered upon my first listens almost 30 years ago.
Number 8. Number 8.
As it was another calendar year, so another random Sun Ra reissue must show up in the bins beneath my fingers. Never having had access to the funds necessary to seek out an original Saturn, nor lucky enough to ever stumble upon the Impulse edition, this 2018 reissue scratched an itch I didn't even know I had.
Number 7.
To call Matthew Doc Dunn a jack of all trades would be both an understatement and a belittlement, and there's no better indictment of the current state of musical discourse and distribution than the fact that he's far from a household name.
Until the moonlight is dancing on the waves. The river is washed out, looks like I'm here to stay.
From his song albums to his collaborative outsider excursions, there are a few artists over the last half-decade whose sounds have more enriched the bulbous auditory receptacles located on either side of the head belonging to this particular script reader.
Number 6.
I don't know why I thought I wouldn't like Doug Hammond and Karen Joseph's Ellipse as much as Folks, last year's number 12, but boy was I wrong. Ellipse hits one of my ever-shifting sweet spots so hard that I'm tempted at certain moments to call it the best album ever.
Number 5?
Steal away, steal away home. I ain't got long.
Deep is a term when applied to music that can mean different things to different people, subject to the reference points one would wager that they are using as a benchmark for shallow.
Steal away, steal away.
After my time with Fitzgore and the Talisman's Sound Magnificat, I'm ready to say my toes can no longer touch the bottom. Does the Out in the Wild discovery of a Bobak John's Malone Motherlight LP reissue move these sounds further into the physical realm than a decades-old low-res digital file? Who knows? But one thing this listener knows for sure is that it has moved the air inside my walls in a most pleasant fashion since its arrival.
Sorry.
My prismatic approach to broadcast, due to a very late arrival and being out of order, creates a situation where, to these ears, this collection of 4 live-in-the-studio sessions might as well be some kind of canonical release. Depending on how you look at it, it's either the band stripped down to the resonances inherent in the dynamics between the instruments and the voice, or the stripping away over 7 years of that exact thing. One day in the not-too-distant past, being a little flush, I asked a friend for some jazz recommendations. "I've been digging these black jazz reissues," was one reply.
No matter how real your mind can make it seem, a ray of light came down to my brain. I saw it so bright I can never be the same. A revelation, a transformation.
And just like that, I was on a hunt. And many months later, I can say that these 4 LPs occupied a significant amount of sonic space around these parts. least the space that wasn't already occupied by Kawaii every day could have been my mantra in 2022. I don't remember how I stumbled upon this LP helmed by Albert Heath, but I'm certain that many other titles on this list wouldn't be here without it. I'm also pretty positive that my year would have been significantly worse in its absence.
And the music certainly made a memorable moment. So long till we can share another moment with you.